The idea of putting pain on a numerical scale is kind of ridiculous when you think about it. How can a number 1 through 10 be an accurate representation of something as vast and deep as pain? The scale is unavoidable, though. Every time you walk in a doctor's office, you're handed a clipboard with a long list of questions and scales to measure your pain. But having to quantify something intangible is really difficult.
Obviously people lose loved ones, but I was at a young age, so I didn't really know how to cope with it. So my, I guess, methods of coping were different.
Like there were times where I thought I was gonna kill myself and you weren't there.
That's the thing, I feel like you can't, stop it.
Pain is subjective. As much as we want to relate to others' pain and empathize, those efforts are fruitless. I won't ever know exactly what my friends have been through, and this film probably doesn't do their experiences justice. But here's my attempt.
But I remember when I was in 2nd grade, I was on the reading mat and I was picking out a book to read. And one of the white kids, he came up to me, and I think he asked me genuinely asked me why are your eyes so small? I remember thinking I don't know. I genuinely I don't know. And those other kids were thinking the same things, that they would go home and talk about school with their parents, and I would talk about hey, why is it different for me? I think I put that at a 7 because it's more impactful than painful. I went to a school in high school that was a public school, and there was a lot more people that were like me and that looked like me, acted like me, came from the same upbringing, same values, same background. And it was more just instead of running away from my differences, it was these people are also different, so I feel more comfortable.
Some pain is caused from others, judging, bullying, discriminating, while some pain comes from within. We can be our own harshest critics, and our opinions of ourselves can be devastating. Hearing that constant voice in the background, reminding you that you're not good enough, you're not special, you aren't normal. Sometimes it's easier to just minimize the hurt. Tell yourself, it could be worse.
I don't know, I like being alone sometimes. I feel like just not having somebody, if somebody's my number one person, me not being theirs. I would say that's my biggest fear. The thing is, I tell myself, it's a good thing I have low motivation because I can't get anything done. If I wanted to starve myself, I can't because I just literally don't care enough. But I'll go through periods where it's I'll try, but then it's I can't.
Some people find shame in their hurt. They're embarrassed and try and hide it away, thinking if anyone found out it would be devastating. At the same time, we want what we don't have, though. Someone to confide in, someone who cares, someone who notices when you're not all right.
And it was my mom had breast cancer, so I had to step up, and all my siblings were upset, but I had to be this tough little it's fine, she's gonna be fine. But I was scared, I was scared too. My best friend stopped hanging out with me because she got a boyfriend, so I had to go to my toxic friends, and they were always they dog on your weight and stuff like that because I think she's insecure, but still, it's not an excuse to take it out on me. Then senior year, it started getting better, and I was yay, I'm getting out of this. But then I had one little relapse or something, and I guess my parents saw, and they decided to put me in therapy, and I was so I don't know how to explain it, hurt that they didn't notice when I needed it. You know what I mean? It's like, it felt so performative. It was like, you're taking me now after, like, I had told them, like, repeatedly when I was going through rough shit, I was like, hey, I don't think I'm doing okay. And they were like, you're fine. They focused on Timmy because he was, like, depressed or something. And I was like, well, why aren't you, like, I need it too. And then for them to do it, like, 6 months after, like, I made myself better, like, that was so, like, hurtful. And I was just like, what the fuck?
Some souls have a gift for giving. Their hearts are so big they can't help but give some away everywhere they go. It's a difficult way to live, investing so much time and energy and love in multiple people. Putting others first all the time, it's hard not to get lost in it.
I feel like I haven't gone through a lot of shit compared to other people though. Like I've only gone to, I would say, like 2 deaths really. I think one of the worst things about life is like seeing other people like struggle and having to just like watch them suffer. So like when I was a freshman in high school, my sister's boyfriend committed suicide, and it was like really hard to just watch her like kind of deteriorate. That was just a really traumatic event that happened that like no one was prepared for, and it just kind of like will always be something that happened to my family and kind of like destroyed my sister, I would say. I'm super grateful for like all the opportunities I've had. So like I don't know, like I feel bad for feeling pain, if that makes sense, but I know other people will go through worse. I feel like boarding school alone was probably like the most traumatic thing I've gone through. But like for me, it was like the options are really limited, and so you kind of had to like put on this mask, and because you lived there, it was 24/7. It wasn't like you could go home and like let loose. Like you were just like walking on eggshells like all the time. And I think like for 4 years I like thought that I was with people that like I called my best friends, but like in reality it was just they liked the person like that I was faking to be, you know? Like I never would open up to people about anything or how I was feeling. Like I would just kind of like fake a lot of my life, honestly. Like I pretended I was rich when I wasn't. The other thing is I hurt myself more than anything, I think, because I continue to surround myself with people that I like try to find the good in, but like I'm not sure how good they actually are. People and like unknowingly their impact on me. Like I don't think they realize the impact that they have on me and like how I like think about them constantly. But I don't think people realize like how much I do care for them.
Every day is a struggle when you lose a loved one. Their memory lives in your head everywhere you go. But what about when you feel like you want to forget? Forget the pain, forget yourself, and just feel a release. It's a fine line to walk, living on the edge of, do I keep going or just let go?
So I'd see these like girls that were more open with their depression, and they'd have like these big ass scars, and I was just like I literally can't even cut myself right, and I was just like I felt so fucking useless. And I just go to my room and I was just like, okay, it felt like too much at that time. So I got like all the pills I had in the house, and I was just sitting there with them on my bed. And then I was friends with this girl, McKenna, and she was like, if you ever like feel like that, you need to like talk to me or talk to someone. And I was like, okay. And I hadn't talked to her in like 2 years. She was like, do you remember? Or she was like, if you ever like feel like that, you need to like talk to me or talk to someone. And I was like, okay. But I just texted her and I was like, hey, do you remember how you said if you ever think of doing something stupid to like text you? And she was like, yeah. And then it was just this whole conversation where she was like, I'll come to you right now. Like she was with her boyfriend, and I was just like, that's so like, I don't know, like nice. Like we
Selfless.
we hadn't like, she's such a good person. Like she was the only one that ever like that picked up that entire night. Fuck it, I guess this is like the only, like it's like, let's try this, okay, maybe this will help, or maybe it'll like make me feel worse, or like something, like maybe it'll just like make you feel something. You know, like that's just what you need in like a moment like that. Like I feel like that's a driving force. And then 10 is like all of it together, like multiple 8s happening at once, where it's just like you can't escape it. Like there's not even a moment where you're like, oh, but at least I have this going for me. It's like, no, like everything is just shit. Like
Drowning.
yes. But it's weird because no one ever really asked about it. I've never really talked about it, and it's like, oh yeah, it is all based off of like core like peaks in the pain. Yeah, it's weird. But like one of my biggest fears is just like falling into like normality, like just living like the same life as everyone else. So having your own experiences and your own defining pain scale, like that's kind of sick. Like I don't know, like it sucks that you have to experience that, but it's nice that it's not the same for everyone. Yeah.
These conversations were like nothing I've ever done before. Sure, you share trauma stories with friends and bond over it, but this experience was different. Actively dissecting my friend's trauma and struggles opened my eyes. Pain became so much more real to me. I could see it in the smallest of ways anytime I was around my friends. I have a better understanding now of why they do the things they do and say. These conversations were like trips through their different minds, and I'm so grateful that they were comfortable enough with me to share. This process was very tricky to do, and emotionally taxing as well. I worried that I was going to push too hard when it came to sensitive topics, or I was trying to label people's pain scales. For anyone who might want to try and have a conversation like this with a close friend or loved one, I recommend taking it slow. Be sensitive. Don't try and force any kind of response. Just take the trip through their memory with them and be understanding of what you might find.